Kate, I know you believe in God and that the world is under God's providence in some way. How then do we get real human freedom if God controls everything that happens?
Well, I'm looking at St. Anselm of Canterbury, and I think he gives maybe the best answer. He sets himself a really difficult problem because he thinks that everything in the universe that has real ontological status, that is, everything that really exists,
Right.
is immediately caused by God from moment to moment. So, how in the world can there be a space for human freedom in there? And his answer, in a nutshell, is that God gives human beings competing motivations such that the human agent is, in the final analysis, the one that chooses between the competing motivations. So all the human being contributes is just pursuing one God-given motive over another. But that little tiny space of pursuing one motive over another, that's really and absolutely up to the human agent. And that's actually a very radical thing to say, because the upshot is God causes everything that exists, but he doesn't cause everything that happens. Human freedom is, something that happens and not caused by God.
Okay, so this is important, obviously, to really understand this issue. So we really want to look at both sides of this equation. First, let's look at the God causing every event. And that was well accepted in the scholastic world, medieval world. Explain to me exactly how that works. How does God control every event? What is actually happening?
Well, I mean, what I want to say, and this is following Anselm, is that God causes almost every event. But that if here you are debating, should I do A, should I do B? And there's this moral significance to A and B. God causes your being sort of in the condition where you're able to opt for one or the other, but you're ultimately opting for one or the other. God doesn't cause that. So there's an event which I'm going to say doesn't have any ontological status. It's not some kind of real thing worthy of the name thing.
Because God causes everything, so it can't be that.
Yeah. So I can't say that, but if I say, or if, I, following Anselm, say, look, God leaves you this little tiny space where you can pursue the motive for A over the motive for B, and it has moral significance, and it was really up to you, then that means that you're the one who's ultimately responsible for that just opting for one over the other.
What I really like about it is it really gives you what we call libertarian freedom.
Yeah, it is. It's a libertarian view.
Because it really gives you the option of could have done otherwise, if that's what you're telling me. I mean, if I have that option of one or the other.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that. but that obviously makes the problem a lot harder, because you're not coming up with some philosophical justifications for no real libertarian freedom. You got your libertarian freedom by definition, but now you have to reconcile that with this concept that God causes every event, but God is not making a decision in that small space.
But see, I'm denying that God causes every event. I'm saying that he causes everything that has real existence, and maybe he causes every event except the opting. You're opting for A over B. And that's where it's radical. I mean, Anselm is saying God is not the cause of every event. Because if he were, then you'd have to say stuff like God caused the act of sin.
Yeah, people try to get around that by saying it causes the act, but not the sin itself, and the sin is a privation. I mean, Every problem, somebody can get around it, but we know that.
Successfully, though. That's the around it successfully.
Right. But we want to understand it in this case. So where is this gap in Anselm? The gap is the decision point between two events, by going this way or that way, whatever. And in each case, God is causing that event, but not causing the decision between the event?
God is not, if the choice, the really interesting event is you're opting for A over B.
And you're calling that an event. The
I'm
decision-making...
going to say that's an event, yeah.
The decision-making process is an event.
And you could have opted for B over A. And everything in there that's a real thing, including even your motivations, these competing motivations for A and for B. I'm going to say they're all caused by God, but you're opting for A over B or for B over A, and you really, in the absolute sense, could have gone one way or another. That was up to you.